Welcome back to the Eyamie NFL show.
Yeah!
We're going to make some predictions for week 3, but before we get to that, let's do a quick recap of week 2.
As you can see here, we had 3 games different that we picked. 2 of them I got right, and 1 of them he got right. The Commanders-Lions game was the one that he got right. The 2 games that I got correct were the Eagles-Vikings game and the Dolphins-Ravens game. As you can see, I am 20-12 on the year after 2 weeks, and he is 19-13. Now, we're going to do our segment called Dumpster Fire and Game Ball. What's your dumpster fire?
My dumpster fire is the Browns defense. They have a lead with 1:55 left, or 2:04 left, whatever it was. They get a touchdown, so they're up by 13. How could they blow the lead? They were jogging. They let Davis get behind them. They jogged for a 60-yard play from the Jets. They let the onside kick go, and then they give up another touchdown in the next 50-some seconds. So, Browns D, you're back in the dumpster fire. Brutal performance in the last 2 minutes of the game. Horrible. How about your dumpster fire?
I have the Indianapolis Colts, the entire team, as my dumpster fire. They got shut out. First shutout of the season, by the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that had 3 wins last year. You got shut out by those people, with Matt Ryan and Stephon Gilmore, Kenny Moore, Jonathan Taylor. In the first half, he only had 4 rushes for 5 yards. You gotta rush Jonathan Taylor more. He's your best player on your team, no doubt. Come on, Colts. We're waiting for you to do something.
Great pick. I don't know what's happening in Indianapolis right now, but it's not good.
What's your game ball?
My game ball goes to the entire Buffalo Bills defense. Through the first 2 games, they've looked spectacular, and against the Super Bowl champions and the number 1 seed in the AFC last year. They're number 1 against the run, and they're number 2 against the pass in defensive stats. That's unbelievable. That is shutdown defense. 17 points over 2 games. The second game in a row that they've been shut down. I'm giving my game ball to the entire Buffalo Bills defense.
The Bills have only allowed 17 points in 2 weeks.
Against 2 good quality teams. That's crazy.
But their offense has had 72 points in 2 weeks. The complete opposite. Which is why I'm giving my game ball to Stephon Diggs.
Oh,
the
good choice.
3-touchdown man. He played different on Monday night, and he was crazy. Great route running, great plays, great catches, good celebrations too. Stephon Diggs, he leads the league in receiving touchdowns. He's going to keep getting some more.
Sounds good. Let's get to the week 3 picks. All right, we start with a great Thursday night matchup, Pittsburgh in Cleveland, which makes a difference. The Steelers have looked brutal on offense and great on defense. Although against the Patriots, they were a much different defense without TJ Watt there. They had 0 sacks. They could not get pressure on Mac Jones. They were not the shutdown defense that we saw in week 1. I believe that Cleveland is a running team. You saw Chubb, Hunt run the ball a lot. The Steelers have not been great against the run. I am cheering for the Steelers to pull out a victory on the road. But I'm actually going to take the Cleveland Browns to win this one.
Oh.
I don't see this Pittsburgh offense changing very quickly. I think this might be the last start for Mitch Trubisky. There is already calls for Pickett to come in. Steelers are playing the Jets week 4. They have an extended week next week after this Browns game. I think Pickett might get it if Trubisky doesn't do something in this next game. I don't think he will. I'm actually taking the Browns. It hurts, but I'm taking the Browns. How about you?
I'm going to go with your team. The Steelers. Sure, the Steelers' offense might suck, but you just put the Browns' defense in the dumpster fire. So it'll be very low scoring, at least for one side. I think the Steelers are going to edge it out very close. Good game, but Steelers win. If Alvin Kamara is in for this game, Saints win. But if Alvin Kamara is out for this game, I think the Panthers win. And Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, I think they're going to play very well in this game. Baker Mayfield, he's going to look for revenge. And I don't think the Saints offense will be too good. Saints defense could hold them, but Saints offense, Panthers defense will hold the Saints offense as well.
So who are you taking?
I'm going to take the Carolina Panthers.
I agree with you. I think I'm taking the Panthers, mostly because they're at home and Baker Mayfield doesn't not have a win yet. I think you can only hold them down for so long. They've shown signs of life, but I think it's their time to get their first victory. I'm taking the Panthers at home too. Kamara, if he doesn't play, for sure. If he does play, I think it could be a close game, but I still think the Panthers squeeze one out. The Texans actually haven't looked as bad as I thought they would look through the first two games. Lovie Smith may have been making some changes there. They may be starting to show. The Bears have given up 379 yards of rushing in the first two games. I think Dameon Pierce is going to have a big day. I'm actually taking the Texans to win on the road.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Bears. Close game, but not a good game. Both teams suck. Like, both teams aren't making playoffs. I agree with you.
This could be a brutal game.
There's going to be tons of bad throws, and commentators are going to be like, oh, and Davis Mills throws it, and it's going to be intercepted. No, it's dropped. And I think the Bears are going to win, and I think Justin Fields is going to use his athleticism to give them the win. Chiefs at Colts. Chiefs got the extra break. Colts got shut out. They didn't just lose, they got shut out. I'm going to take the Chiefs here, but I actually think that it could be a close game. Jonathan Taylor, he's going to run all over this defense, but I think that the Chiefs offense won't be able to be stopped. Chiefs win.
I agree with you on the Chiefs, but this won't be a close game. Kelsey's going to explode. Colts have looked brutal. This is not the week that they get their first win. I'm taking the Chiefs. A battle of undefeated teams. This should be a good one. Buffalo heading down to Miami. It's in Miami. I think there's some question marks. I mentioned earlier about the shutdown Bills defense, but they do have some injuries mounting up with Milano, Hyde, Jackson, Phillips, all questionable. Depends how many of those actually play in the game. I think most of them will. But I'm still taking Buffalo in this one. You got to remember that Miami only had one touchdown in the first half. If they have the offense that everyone saw in the fourth quarter, where was it in the first half last week? And so I think the Bills will expose Miami for the team that they are. And I'm not betting against the Bills. They look just too good the first two games. Bills all the way. I'm sure you will probably agree with me.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that it's going to be fast receivers against weak corners, but those two safeties, hopefully Micah Hyde plays, will be able to help out those weak corners and stop the deep pass from Tua. They're going to be forced to run, which isn't really their main priority, and the Bills' defense is what's going to win. Lions at Vikings. Could be a close one, could not. And I'm going to take the Vikings here. They got killed last Monday, and I think that they're going to come for revenge. Justin Jefferson going to have a big game against the Lions defense, and Kirk Cousins is going to be angry. He's going to hand it off more to Dalvin Cook, who only had 17 rushing yards last week. Brutal. He's going to do a lot better in this game.
I'm not sure which Viking teams we're going to get. The one that showed up in week 1 that looked great against the Packers, or the ones that showed up in week 2 that were brutal against the Eagles. And so both teams, the Lions and the Vikings, have played the Eagles. I thought the Lions looked much better playing them. The Lions are tied for top in the league with 9 offensive touchdowns in 2 games. They've looked really good. I'm taking the Lions in this one. I think they'll win on the road and beat the Vikings in Minnesota.
Just a question. What's the other team that had 9 touchdowns?
I think there's 2, the Bills and the Chiefs. There's 3 teams that have 9 touchdowns. So the Lions have the same amount of touchdowns as the Chiefs and the Bills, offensively.
Oh,
that's pretty good company.
Yeah.
The Ravens just put 2 more linebackers on their injured reserve. They're now up to 9 players on the IR, which leads the NFL again for the Ravens. That could make a difference in this game against the Patriots. Mac Jones does not look sharp in the first 2 games. Patriots are finally playing at home. Are they playing more against a Steelers type offense or a Dolphins type offense? And I think they're playing more a Dolphins type offense, which gave them problems. And so I'm taking the Ravens in this one. I think they're going to win pretty big.
I think that the Patriots have weak cornerbacks, and Lamar Jackson's going to take advantage of that. Kyle Hamilton on that defense, I think he's going to have a big game here. Jets had a surprising win last week to make sure the Browns didn't get to 2-0 for the first time since 1993. But the Bengals are winning here. They're angry from 2 weeks ago, angry from last week. They're ready to play now. I don't think they're fully back from the Super Bowl, but I think they'll get their first win in week 3.
Yeah, the Jets needed a miracle to get their first win. This Bengals although they've given up 13 sacks in the first 2 games, they faced the Cowboys and the Steelers, which have good pass rushes. And so I don't think the offensive line, obviously it's a focus. I don't think it'll be as bad this week. The Jets don't have the same kind of defensive pass rush that the first 2 teams do. So I'm taking the Bengals. Going into the season, both of these teams had really high expectations, and they're both at 0-2. So the question is, who's going to be the first one to win, and who will go 0-3? I think Tennessee is a little more well-rounded and is a little more motivated. And so I'm going to take the Titans. They were embarrassed. Even though they have a short week, they can't wait to play again. So I'm taking the Titans in this one. It could be close, but I'm taking the Titans.
I'm going to take the Raiders. 2 of the league's best. Both made playoffs last year. Both 0-2. Derrick Henry on the Titans. Devontae Adams on the Raiders. Probably 2 of the best offenses there are in the league. I'm going to have to go with the Raiders, though. I think it's going to come down to the defenses. Titans' defense couldn't stop the Bills last week, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop the Raiders this week. It's a short week for the Eagles, but that won't matter. Carson Wentz won't be able to get past that Eagles secondary and the Eagles defense itself. Eagles are too good for the Commanders, too good for Carson Wentz.
I still don't believe in Carson Wentz and the Commanders, and the Eagles have given me no reason to bet against them. They shut down the good Vikings offense. They will shut down the bad Commanders offense, even with Dotson. I'm taking the Eagles on this one. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the only AFC South team with a win so far. That is crazy. They are leading the division. I never would have guessed that, but they looked pretty good. I can't wait to see what Trevor Lawrence can do against this Chargers defense. But in the end, I think the Chargers defense will step up. No word on Herbert yet, how bad his ribs are, how much he'll be able to play or if he won't. But I think the Chargers defense will just be too much. I'm expecting the Chargers to win this one.
That's pretty much all that needs to be said. Chargers defense is much better than the Colts defense. Chargers win easily. Jacksonville won't know what hit them. For this game, I'm going to take the Rams. Cooper Kupp is going to have a big game. It could be close, but Rams win.
I agree. I think you can't shut down Cooper Kupp. He's had 2 great weeks, just picking up where he left off last season. I'm not sure which Kyler Murray is going to show up in this game, the one that can scramble for 15 seconds before he throws a touchdown pass, or the one that gets sacked over and over. I'm taking the Rams. This is going to be a close matchup. It's in Seattle, so the 12th man could play a factor. Seattle's looked good at times, and then they haven't looked good at times. Same thing you could say with Atlanta. Atlanta's traveling from the East Coast way out to the West Coast. Typically that doesn't end well, but I'm going to go with my gut on this one and pick the Falcons. I think Drake London has looked good in his first 2 games. He'll get better with each game. Pitts is coming on. Mariota has looked pretty good for being with the Falcons. So I'm actually going to take the Falcons on this one, but it's a toss-up. I'm taking the Falcons.
I'm also going Falcons. Drake London, he's gonna have a big game here. He's had a big game last week. The Falcons somehow kept it. Had a one-score game with the Rams. Almost made a crazy comeback, 28-3. Falcons fans, you remember that score. And I'm gonna have to take the Falcons. Seahawks, they're gonna come back to reality and start season 1 and 2. Both teams have wide receivers missing. Devontae Adams on the Packers, Mike Evans on the Bucs. And I think it'll come down to the running backs and the defensive lines who can hold the running backs. I'm going to have to go with the Bucs. Not because Fournette's better than Jones, and Dillon for that case, but I think that the Bucs D-line is better with the linebackers and Vita Vea.
I don't think so. Akeem Hicks is out. That'll give Aaron Jones a big day running the ball. I think the Bucs will miss their wide receivers, Evans, Godwin. They just picked up Beasley. How quickly can he get integrated in the offense? I think the Bucs need some time on the offense. Even though the GOAT is still there, I'm taking the Packers. They're playing Aaron Rodgers. I think the Packers are going to come on, take a win in Tampa Bay. The Jimmy G era is back in San Francisco. It is great. I think San Francisco is going to take this game. I don't know what's going on in Denver. Rookie head coach. They've had delay of game penalties. They've only had like 2 offensive touchdowns in 2 games. They do not look good on the offense. I think they're finally going to play a real team. And I think San Fran's going to teach them a lesson. I'm taking San Fran big in this one. Let's go, Jimmy G.
Jimmy G, let's ride. I'm also going with the 49ers. The Broncos just don't have the momentum. They barely beat the Texans, which shouldn't be a thing. And they lost to the Seahawks 2 weeks, and that's 2 horrible teams. And I think the 49ers are going to show them that they're the boss.
This will be the first real test for the Broncos. I think we both are in agreement that they're going to fail that test.
Yep. The Monday night game could be a good one. Cooper Rush is 2-0 as a starter for the Cowboys, and I'm going with the Cowboys. I think that Saquon Barkley is going to get demolished by Micah Parsons and that Cowboys D-line. The Giants' offense isn't a pass offense, and they're going to not do good in this game.
This will answer some questions on both sides of the ball. Are the Giants for real? Is Cooper Rush for real with the Cowboys? I don't think so. I'm taking the Giants in this one. I think Saquon Barkley is actually going to have a big game. I think it's going to be dump pass to Barkley, run to Barkley. So I'm taking the Giants to win this one at home. I believe in Brian Daboll. I think he's putting together a winning squad there. Let's go Giants. My bold prediction last week was that the Seahawks were going to be shut out. And they scored 7 points. I was close, but not quite there. For this week's bold prediction, we're going back to the Giants game. I'm predicting that Saquon Barkley will have 3 touchdowns, 100 yards of rushing, and 80 receiving yards. He is going to light up the Dallas Cowboys defense.
That is pretty bold.
What's your bold prediction for week 3?
My bold prediction, I'm going back to the Ravens-Patriots game. I'm predicting Kyle Hamilton to have 2 interceptions in this game, including one inside the final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter.
That's bold.
About as bold as his head.
If that comes to pass, wow, you are the king of bold predictions.
Yep. Also, last week I predicted Carson Wentz to throw 3 interceptions, but still win. He lost and only threw 1 interception, which just shows you how good the Lions are.
Yeah. All right, so before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. Of the 7 teams that are still looking for their first win, who is going to be the last team remaining of those 7 to be looking for a win? Maybe it's in 3 weeks, maybe it's next week. Who will be the last team standing as the last winless team?
I'm going to have to go with the favored Texans. They're just one of the worst teams in the NFL. They haven't gotten a win, but they've only lost once. They've tied. And And I don't think they're going to get a win anytime soon. Maybe in like 3 or 4 weeks.
And I'm taking the Texans to win this week. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. That's it for week 3 picks. We'll see you next week. Adios.
See ya.